The Academy Awards. A night of magic. A night of glamour. But most importantly, and above all, a night of unhealthy self-absorption.
You like me!
Yeah, let's be real. The Academy Awards is a night, really, for celebrities to, well, celebrate each other for being celebrities.
That sounds awful.
However, the Academy Awards serve another purpose, a purpose that I personally enjoy and try to focus on when it comes to the event. I feel the Academy Awards are a time for film appreciation. The winner is kind of more or less beside the point for me.
And the Oscar goes to...
I don't care. These films are nominated for Best Picture. They've already won in my book. So let's take a look at these films nominated for Best Picture and talk about why they should win Best Picture. Hello everybody, welcome to Film Fireside. The Father, directed by Florian Zeller, starring Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman, is nominated for Academy Awards. I think 6 as well. Now also nominated for 6 Academy Awards, Best Picture being one of them, so let's dive right in and take a look at this film. Just a fair warning, heads up, we'll be discussing major spoilers in this video about The Father, so if you have not seen The Father yet, just be aware of that. You're welcome to continue on if you'd like and enjoy the analytical points, and it maybe will inspire you to go watch the film, but we'll be talking spoilers of this film. The most obvious reasoning and analytical point here is dementia.
Of course!
Dementia is a growing topic, I guess. I was gonna say concern, which isn't necessarily true because it's always been around. It's something that's been here for a long time, but it's becoming more and more relevant to a lot of people. Florian Zeller did an interview with the British Columbia Alzheimer's Society, I think is what it's called. The person performing the interview, she gave a pretty interesting statistic.
So there are over 50 million people in the world today who are living with dementia, and that number is actually expected to triple by 2050.
The relevance of this film is something that I guess we maybe haven't realized, that this is a story that we wanted to be told. I mentioned in my review, I have a grandpa on my dad's side who was going through dementia and a grandma on my mom's side who is going through dementia, which deals with many challenges. And so watching this film, it was kind of like someone heard my inner thoughts that I've been feeling in regards to my grandfather. And my grandfather I've had more direct interaction with because he lives in my parents' hometown, and whereas my grandma, I don't live in the same town as her, so I don't see her as often, but grandfather I have personal interactions with, and it was just like someone had heard the thoughts in my head about that, and just the things that I'm concerned of and the observations I make of the situation, and just put it all into a movie that is beautiful and relatable and helps me process some things and heal from some things. So this film is important because I think it applies to a lot of people that maybe are just kind of suffering silently from this, like I feel like I kind of was. Another element, this very much is in line with the next point I'm going to make, but this is something that cannot go unrecognized. The production design. This is without a doubt unlike anything I've ever seen when it comes to using the background in a very active way. I believe in an interview, I won't include the clip or anything, it's just a quick little thing, Florian Zeller said it's almost like a third character that's experiencing its own arc. And it's very true. As you know, the movie starts off, Anthony Hopkins is sitting in his own apartment, Olivia Colman, his daughter, comes in and has a conversation about her moving to Paris. She's concerned about him, wants to maybe help him move into a facility. There's a conversation like that takes place. She leaves, and then all of a sudden a man is in Anthony Hopkins' apartment, claiming that the apartment is not Anthony Hopkins, but it's actually his apartment. We're hooked into this world of what's real and what's not. And the thing that subtly contributes to that and just helps contribute to this sense of madness, and for me, it took me a long while before I actually realized it was happening, is the set starts changing behind him. Set pieces are in different places. The color of his own bedroom just changes drastically. Minor details of things. There's a picture that's his daughter's that's hanging on the wall that's there, and then when it isn't there, apparently it hadn't been there at all, and he's getting that confused with his own apartment. And we just are having our brains just being unraveled by this just wacky experience, and it is the experience that is dementia. I think the structure of this at first kind of confused me. I was wondering why everything wasn't linear. And I think that's kind of the problem with dementia, is you lose a sense of time. And sometimes you forget that it's not 10 years ago. And with my grandfather, bless him too, when it comes to talking with someone and boom, it's someone else all of a sudden. Very within like a 5-minute conversation with him, he'll go from thinking I'm my cousin to my older brother to my brother-in-law. Like it's just all over the place. That's painfully frustrating. I can't even imagine how painfully frustrating that is and hard that is to have happen. And remembering like details incorrectly or kind of correctly. There is a moment too that I think was very interesting. This is irrelevant. This is more relevant to the script, but again, the production design is used for this. He comes into the kitchen getting ready for dinner, and he overhears Olivia Colman and her boyfriend, I forget the character's name, I think Paul. They're having a conversation, and the conversation ends because he comes into the room. They are talking about him, so they end the conversation, and then dinner plays out and he leaves the room, and then a different conversation ensues between them, but it ends up right where the first conversation he overheard took place, and it's the exact same thing happened again. Having repetition within your life is just kind of normal. That's something that's not that big of a deal, but then it becomes really confusing with dementia because didn't we do this already? Paranoia, everyone's out to get me. There's just all these things that are just unraveling, and we can understand why you maybe jump to those conclusions when your whole world is just collapsing around you. Nothing is secure. Even maybe something that's sacred that you want to hold dear, like your daughter's painting, that's you're unable to hold on to things like that. And the film is really good at involving us in that, which is a good transition into my next point. In an interview with Florian Zeller, he mentioned this in many interviews. I'll just quote him because, again, it's a quick thing. He just says that he wanted the audience to take an active part in the story, not to just passively observe. The script, the production design, and even some elements play into perhaps a mystery type of trope or genre, and we're trying to just make sense of everything. We're trying to figure it out for him. He says that he intended to have the audience be actively playing a part in that and trying to figure out what happens, because at one point you realize that you just can't figure it out and you just kind of need to let the events unfold. That defeat, to me, he doesn't say this part, but this is the analytical point I want to make. It's that defeat to me is, I think, a beautiful thing about this film. That feeling of defeat. We don't go to a movie for that necessarily. Even at the end of Infinity War, where they very clearly lost, we all knew they were coming back in the next movie. Like, duh, So there's still an emptiness to that defeat. But I think this film defeats you in the sense that you want to make sense of this and you want to understand him, but you just can't. And yeah. I'm crying, yeah. And that's kind of how, when you have a loved one with dementia, is. You want to help them, you want to make sense of their world, you want to really understand them, but sometimes you can't do it because it's just too complicated of a thing, and it's not their fault, it's not your fault, but it's a beautiful element of the film that really strikes me and makes it very, very personal for me. Now, I don't, when I say defeat, I don't want this to come across like I'm saying this is a negative film or the message is, well, shoot dang, I think it's a healing and acceptance that this film requires. It helps us accept our loved ones who have had dementia and the many things we tried, the effort we put in as their caretakers, as their loved ones. We are validated in our efforts there. So I think there is a hope to this film too. The end of this film suggests too that just take it a day at a time, and that's all you can do for your loved ones with dementia, and even those experiencing dementia. Day at a time. That's all you can do. I really, really love this movie. And those are the reasons why I think it should win Best Picture. Wow, I filmed that really quickly. This is gonna be a shorter analysis. Tell me your thoughts on The Father. What analytical points did I fail to mention in this video? I'm sure there are many, so please comment them below. Get a discussion going with me. How did this film reach you? Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any more content coming your way. I got one more episode of Why It Should Win. Spoiler alert, it's about promising young women, and we'll have a guest appearance on this one, which is why I saved it for last. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on content. Comment, like. Bye-bye.